Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to talk about Donnie Yen as Chirrut Imwe in Rogue One. All right, so I have something I have to wrestle with here, right? So Chirrut Imwe is without a doubt my absolute favorite character in Rogue One, and I want to talk about Donnie Yen taking on this role and what he did with this character, right? So, but first, getting into that, we have to talk about who and what Donnie Yen is. So Donnie Yen is a Chinese actor, and with that, it means that he is a citizen of he comes from a communist country. So I was born in 1970s, and back then the Cold War was in full effect, and so I've seen the Berlin Wall fall, and I saw the Soviet Union fall, right? And I also, have studied and actually very firsthand the damage that the Communist Party has done all over the world. Elian Gonzalez, I saw that entire episode, and so I am a citizen of the United States of America, and I love democracy, and I do truly believe that communism is a very adamant and dangerous enemy to democracy. And so I'm really opposed to communism, right? So now I need to wrestle with the fact that my favorite character in Star Wars, which is my favorite movie series, comes from a communist country, right? Because by going and seeing this movie, particularly multiple times, does that mean I promote communism? Now, I don't think it does. And the reason why is Donnie Yen is not the only actor in this film. And not even, the barest minority of people in this movie are come from a communist country, right? So I'm just explaining, what I kind of had to wrestle with to come to terms with Donnie Yen being in this role, right? Now, I have thought about this, and honestly, the reality is, now that I've seen the way he did this role, one of the things is, it's clear to me that Donnie Yen, in doing this film, and in doing his job as an actor and a martial artist, is really, there's no politics in this performance. Really, I think Donnie Yen just immersed himself in his character of Chirrut Imwe, and his performance is really something amazing and special, right? Chirrut Imwe is by far my favorite character in Rogue One, and one of the reasons why is just the phenomenal job he did in this film. So one of the things I really liked in Rogue One was Chirrut Imwe using a long-range spear weapon, a long-range weapon that looked like a spear, but it was like a single-fire, powerful laser rifle, right? Pretty much, almost very much like a sniper weapon, right? And so Chirrut Imwe waiting for his moment and shooting down a TIE fighter, right? And this is on the planet where Orson Krennic goes to see Galen Erso, right? And all the major players are there. And Chirrut Imwe follows Cassian Andor when Cassian Andor is getting ready to kill Galen Erso, right? Now, all heck breaks loose, and so Chirrut Imwe immediately jumps right into the combat, and he takes this long-range laser rifle weapon, a very unusual weapon. We've never seen anything like it in Star Wars. That's one of the reasons why I am just so wonderfully delighted with Chirrut Imwe as a character. And I think, it took Donnie Yen to bring this character to life and to execute this as flawlessly as it was executed, right? So Chirrut Imwe, he fires at this TIE fighter, and that TIE fighter careens over and strikes essentially like a gun emplacement. It strikes a gun emplacement, and there's a huge explosion, and it really, with one shot, Chirrut Imwe really very much kind of turns the tide of battle, or majorly gives a boost to his side, right? So he's at every turn, Chirrut Imwe is a super dangerous warrior, and he's a super valuable member of the team, right? And he has a physical disability. He is blind, right? So, like, you know, this is just, I can't say, you know, how many layers of awesome this is, right? Now, the way this was acted, Donnie Yen came in and he did this character. And I just feel like he fully understood this Force-dedicated character. This man who his entire life was dedicated to being one with the Force, and the Force being with him, right? And his faith was so strong that it bolstered the people around him, Baze Malbus, for example. And so this is an incredibly complicated, incredibly well-written character. And so this could have just been fumbled so easily in the hands of a not masterful actor, right? But Donnie Yen is a masterful actor. And I just feel like his performance here is just like, it is one of the best performances ever given in a Star Wars film. And actually, I would put it up against, portrayals of characters in almost any film. It's in like the top 10 acting jobs I've ever seen. It is done incredibly well. And so one of the things I think is really interesting is Donnie Yen is one of these guys who, he's bringing forward an acting job, right? He's doing his job as an actor, but he's a martial artist, right? And not just a martial artist, one of the best martial artists on the planet, right? So he has dedicated his life to being able to be incredibly, physically spry and to be able to do martial arts in a theatric way. And his Ip Man films in China have been fantastic. I've really enjoyed them. He's done a great job with them, right? So, to come here and bring all that physicality, to bring all the awesomeness of the very best, kung fu, Chinese martial arts to this film, and then on top of that, do a phenomenal job just as an actor, and to just bring forward an incredibly nuanced and an incredibly, just rich, robust portrayal of a character that needed to be portrayed well at a time he needed to be portrayed well. And one of the things I think is interesting is Rogue One is a really important film, right? We're going down this road. We now have these movies with Disney. This is the first of the off movies, the off-year movies, right? The movies that aren't episodes, they're stories instead. And so it was important that these worked, right? And I really feel that Chirrut Imwe just did that Donnie Yen, in playing Chirrut Imwe, just did the best he could possibly do to breathe life into this character, and man, did he succeed. And so here's the other thing, right? Star Wars is incredibly important to me. It's precious in many ways, right? I know my priorities: God, family, and then Star Wars, right? It's not the first thing in my life, but it's very high on the list, right? And so one of the things that is interesting is the reason why Star Wars got there is I was born in 1970 and I saw Star Wars in 1977, and it changed my life. And Star Wars is still changing my life, right? But here's the thing. I saw Star Wars when I was 7 years old, and it really, it made me be super interested in science fiction. I started reading science fiction novels. It helped me to solidify my education, with a desire to read more about Star Wars. And, and even beyond that, it just, the term A New Hope, it told me that hope is important in life, that you should have friends, you should stick with your friends, all these important things, right? And it's been really special to me. Well, to tell the truth, let's get back to the point that Donnie Yen comes from a communist country. Well, here's the thing. There are 7-year-old kids in China. And I have to say, if Donnie Yen helps them to see Star Wars the way that I see Star Wars, that is important to me. And I was really moved by Donnie Yen's performance, and I think he did a great job. And I'm really glad he got the role. And that's it. Take care, everybody.